Hey, everybody, this is Mark,
And this is Ashley.
and this is Awkward Fist Bump Productions, baby. Let's talk about Barbara. But first,
Barbara.
let's awkwardly fist bump each other. Boo!
Boom.
Okay, so for you guys that are big fans of season one, you will remember Barbara. Barbara was a military spouse. I think her husband was Coast Guard.
Yes.
Yes, military spouse who came in and struggled in the beginning. It's almost like I was kind of typecasted after her. Struggled in the beginning, but became, towards the end was like running the pod on the female side.
hmm
So, if you don't know who she is, we are going to watch this video right here.
I feel like prison is a handout.
This is Barbara, a stay-at-home mom who thinks inmates have it too easy. So she volunteers to go to jail for 60 days.
It's a nightmare.
It doesn't take long before she almost gives up.
I need to get out of here now.
But things turn around when she discovers another volunteer.
I'm not alone. I'm not so isolated.
And she realizes that jail can teach her a lot.
I've learned a lot since I've been here. I'm a stronger person.
And when things in her pod spiral out of control, Barbara surprises everyone by stepping up.
Fight down. Everyone's fighting all the time. I'm damn sick and tired of it.
In the end, Barbara not only survives, she thrives.
So if that makes me the new pod boss, then so be it.
And gives the sheriff a lot to think about.
I actually made a list of all the problems and issues that this jail needs to deal with immediately. This is what I'm...
Hey, everybody, so that was Barbara. What do you think, my friend?
So I have been doing my best to do as much research on Barbara as I can,
Mhm.
and it's been difficult finding things. On the internet, on our favorite Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, all those different places. Barbara isn't very well received.
She isn't.
There's
I've noticed a lot of fan hate.
Yes, and it's I get it a little bit because she did have a very strong personality,
Yeah.
but as far as finding information and bonding with the inmates, I thought she did a really good job, especially towards the end whenever she started asserting herself more.
Hmm.
That's to come in to a jail that you don't belong in a county you don't belong in, and get to the point where I wouldn't really call her the pod boss. I would just say, I mean,
Yeah.
there's like what, 25, 30 women in that pod.
Yeah.
She wasn't
Yeah.
really the boss,
But
but
very
a
influential.
person who was respected by other inmates.
Yeah.
She did gain respect, and that's hard. It's hard to get that.
It really is because you've got so many different personalities. And when you have respect in there among everybody, it means you're doing something right, really.
hmm
Be- But so
Hang on.
oh,
Sorry.
it's okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Sorry, everybody. We're having a very weird winter storm here in Texas,
Uh-oh.
and yeah, so I just got an alert that my Wi-Fi was going out, so I just switched to cell towers, so that way there wouldn't be a delay.
That sucks. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
So let's start from the beginning. She goes in, and I guess the best way to describe her is she was kind of like me, kind of awkward in the beginning, kind of,
Mhm.
I think everybody was like, she's going to quit. If you start watching it today and you haven't seen season one, spoiler alert, but sorry, it's been like 5 years. At some point, we're going to spoil
You
something.
should know if you're here on this channel. You should know.
But that being said, she started out, she was struggling, but then her and Tammy allied for a while.
Mhm.
So
They never
Tammy,
caught on to Miriam being part of it.
no, they didn't, but they were able to figure each other out.
hmm
So from that point on, because Tammy had a strong personality, and we will have another video about Tammy. That being said, I think it helped raise Barbara's confidence.
hmm Yeah, but I agree with that. And she really made some strong friends, some strong allies in there with the
Hmm.
inmates, which it was so different with her season versus ours because they went in not knowing at all who any of the other participants were. We at least got to meet the people that we were going to be working with. Whereas, she had no clue, which kind of scares me when I watch those, because can you imagine trying to seek somebody out, and what if you sought the wrong person out and they were a real inmate, and
Yeah,
you're
right.
like, oopsie.
I think of the earlier seasons. All of y'all met each other, right, prior to going in? Yes, because you all did the training together.
Yeah.
And then you
Not
got
the
pulled out of the
men.
herd. Okay, so the women did,
Yeah.
and then, okay.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, but I just couldn't remember. But season 5, if you saw, we all met each other as well. But for us, men and women all met.
Mhm.
And so we all knew each other before we went in. We had an advantage in season 5 and 6. They didn't have an advantage before because, I don't know though, because remember, we did have, last week, we were told that, by Ryan, that people didn't know 60 days in, they didn't know it was a show. So I would say it was harder then to try to pick up on each other. But can you imagine going up to an inmate and being like, I know? You know what? I know. That would just be an awkward moment.
Yeah, I think I would lie. I think I'd be so nervous and scared that I'd lie and be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Like, I would be, once again, awkward me coming through. I would be so scared. But Barbara really took to Tammy's discovery with ease. She never really had that moment of doubt. Tammy was like, I know who you are, and Barbara was like, okay, cool, besties. And I'm like, no, don't do that. You don't even know her.
But then they became super close.
And then they had
But
a
then they had a falling out. Yeah.
Was it over the birthday cake? Do you remember that when they were
It
making
was.
the gel cake, and Tammy,
And remember,
like,
Tammy, God bless her soul, but she seemed to be on the dramatic end. And Tammy, if you're watching this, we're not bashing you, but
yeah.
the show came across that there were some dramatic moments, and of course Barbara had to be like, "Oh no, you're wrong, and that was kind of that falling out. And I don't know that they ever fully recovered from that. Really, they didn't.
I don't know, because there was never, they seemed at the reunion to really gang up on Miriam. And we'll talk about that when we discuss Muhammad Ali's daughter. When we discuss
She's Muhammad
her.
Ali's daughter?
I know. It's going to blow your mind. But yes,
Surprise!
Yes,
That's like,
she is.
I don't know if you knew this, but Vivian was the enforcer for the Chicanos for season 5.
Vivian?
It was Vivian, wasn't it?
Was it? I don't know. I don't think it was heavily discussed.
Maybe it was David. No,
David.
It was Brooke.
Steve
was the enforcer.
Steve was. Yes.
That's what it was. Yeah, but
we got to keep it in line, Mark. Come on.
Yeah, but I know they dropped subtle clues is what I'm getting at. And I didn't know that she was Muhammad Ali's daughter.
No, it was never mentioned. But it was cool to follow up with that. Later, Reddit's gonna be so mad.
I don't know if y'all sensed sarcasm dripping from our veins.
Yeah.
But there was at least one person that watches our videos that the entire time we were going over the enforcer, they were like, no, it was Abner. I actually did that before. On one of the 60 Days In fan pages, I like to pick a little bit. And someone said, who's the, they were being a smart aleck, who's the enforcer of the Chicano? So I go into the comment section and I say, it was Vivian. And one fan or one Facebook user was just like, no, it wasn't. It was. So then I played along with them. They said, no. They said it was Abner. I don't think they realized it was me. So I said, it was Abner? No. Abner was the guy that quit the show early. And they're like, no, that was Steve. And I was like, no, that wasn't Steve. You're talking about Brooke. Brooke was the person that got kicked out early because, they threatened to jump on top of a table. It was great because I had this, like, the comment feed was like this long. And finally, I think someone came in and started, like, they said, stop. This guy is Mark from season 5. And, anyway, I like to pick. So
I do too.
If you're the one person that watches the episode, I didn't mean to pick on you. My apologies.
But we're not talking. I mean it.
But we're not talking about, Abner or Vivian or Steve, or we're talking about Barbara. So Barbara,
Yes.
you know, she seems to be, as well as she did. So I'm convinced that in the 60 Days in Community, and when I say 60 Days in Community, I'm talking about you fans out there, there are
Mhm.
several categories of inmates. There are the goats, the Nate,
Mhm.
the Abner, Zach, Tony, those are the goats. Then you have the very memorable people, and
Mhm.
unfortunately, Robert would go down as very memorable. No one's ever, you might hate Robert, but from a marketing standpoint, he played that
He was
brilliantly
gold.
because
He was
no one
TV
will ever
gold.
forget him. But you'll have
Yeah.
people that you don't forget. And then you have the participants. Well, I guess it's four categories. So the participants that are generally hated by the 60 Days in Community, and then the participants that are forgot. And I think that's a shame
Mhm.
because unfortunately, I think Barbara kind of had fallen into that forgotten about category. And I don't get it because she did such a great job, in my opinion.
Mhm. Well, her downfall with the fans was the way she talked to her husband on the phone. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember that very much. Just it I I had a couple phone calls that were made it to air, so I can't. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. My phone is just stupid weather. Anyways, there was a couple of moments where I was scared because my phone calls were aired and it felt like they were a little bit out of context. And I get
Hmm.
that. It's at the end of the day, it is a show that is edited and pieced together, and I don't want to blame her for having an argument with her husband because it was
Yeah.
it was a stressful time, but the people paint her out to be, I think dependa is the word you and I are familiar with.
Yeah.
If you're not a military person, dependa is kind of a derogatory term for a military spouse that their whole entire personality or
Yep.
entity, if you will, is that they are a military spouse and that's it.
Yep.
Um,
Or they wear their spouse's
husband. Yeah.
rank.
And I get it. I get why people are saying that, but I don't really feel like in that moment that was Barbara at
I
all. Like
don't.
she held her own. She held her own in the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah. I
So
mean, listen, at the end of the day, when y'all see one phone call, we're recorded 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We
yeah.
Do you have a bad day? And I'm talking to you, the guest. Do you,
Mhm.
if we were to sit down and watch your life for 60 days, do you have bad days in those 60 days? Well, guess what? We're humans too.
Mhm.
So I hate that it's almost her whole downfall, if you will
Mhm.
call it a downfall, is based on a 30-second phone call or a
It
30
was the
second clip.
one it was the one about complaining about the foot stomping on the American flag in the collage photo, which it wasn't
Oh,
stomping on it. And this is,
yeah.
I feel like an authority to comment on it because I am, former military. It did not appear to me that a foot was stomping on the flag at all. I did not
Hmm.
interpret it that way. I did not see it that way. It was just it was a collage of just random things, and it happened to be
Yeah.
a foot close to a flag. So
Yeah.
that's how I feel. What do you think?
Possibly, but I have an entirely different mindset to that. I
Mm-hmm.
served in the country to give you freedom. Now,
Mm-hmm.
you can use that freedom stupidly or very well. So, but just because
Mm-hmm.
you choose to, I fought for your right to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just my opinion on it. I'm not saying I agree with people that stomp on the flag or anything like that, but I fought for your right to do that. And as
Mm-hmm.
much as it irritates me on a personal level, I'm not going to sit here, and you have the freedom to do it, period. But you have the
Mm-hmm.
freedom to do it thanks to the men and women who have served. But we just turned this
Mm-hmm.
into a completely military
Yeah.
show.
But
But
do you think Miriam drew that with the desire to show a foot stomping on the flag? I didn't feel like she
I
did.
don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Okay, we're at the part of the show where we rate the participant on a scale
Hang
of
on.
1 to 10.
We got to follow up. We got to talk about where Barbara is now. We have to they're
Oh,
1-0. It's
okay.
been 6 years. So,
6 years, yeah.
did you know Barbara wrote a book?
No, she did.
Yes. I don't know if it came out before the show or after the show, but I typed in Barbara Williams onto Google, and I was looking for her, and Amazon popped up that there was a book that was written. She also was found to be very angry over like Miley Cyrus or Katy Perry or something. Like she did some sort of an interview where she was like an angry military spouse, which is probably a lot of
Which
where
adds to the dependa.
Yes.
Anyway, okay.
And then after that, she was allegedly spotted at a college campus in Florida and has disappeared off the face of the earth. And nobody knows where she's at. A Facebook search, I think I may have found her husband. He might not be her husband anymore, but there was a guy who matched her husband's name who was in the Coast Guard, and he was married to a woman who did not look like Barbara. So I don't know if that I could be spreading drama, and I don't want to be. But people want to know
they could
where
be
she's
the
at.
victim of be a victim of the 60 days in curse.
And
if you want to
don't
know what the 60 days in curse is, go look a couple episodes down. You'll find it.
Yes. But Barbara, if you find this, if you watch this, we would love to interview you and find out from you where you're at now, how this affected your life, what you've got going on. Google is not fair. You know, we want to know from you. So if you see this, Barbara, please call us.
Hit us up. awkwardfistbumpproductions@gmail.com.
Yes.
All right.
Are you ready to rate? I'm ready now.
Let's rate.
Ready.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the weakest, 10 being the strongest, where would you rate Barbara?
I'm going to give Barbara a 6, a solid 6, because she struggled in the beginning. She grew in the end, but she allowed the drama to kind of consume her purpose while she was there, which unfocused her from the mission. I believe she did well, but not as well as she could have if she had stayed focused. So I'm going with a 6.
A 6? I would agree. I would actually also rate her a 6. She's not the strongest, but she's not the weakest. And she did very, very well. You know, you saw it was great seeing her path going from timid to a secure, you know, person in that type of environment, you know, sure of themselves, but then got wrapped up in the drama. So that's it. Our rating is a 6 across the board. All right. If you love our videos, make sure you awkwardly subscribe. Awkwardly fist bump that subscribe button. I'll get that one day.
You're going to get it, Mark.
Yeah, I will. We love you guys. We will talk to you later.
Boom.